Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Aley Hammer, and today on the show we have Rob Taylor, a solution architect here at AWS, talking all things Amazon narratives. So Rob, what is a narrative? Why do we write them? Can you tell us about it?
Sure. So a narrative is basically, just if you want to implement something new at AWS, you want to change a process, you generally have to write a narrative that explains why something needs to change. And the most important feature of it is that it's actually data-driven.
Mm-hmm. So I personally have written a narrative myself. It's very daunting. You sit in a room, there's complete silence. Everybody gets handed your narrative and they read through it, and then there's an open discussion after that.
Yeah.
Why do we have this process?
Because it really makes people actually think about what's going on in the narrative. It really makes you sit down and is there an alternative? Is the data that's being presented here actually a call to do what the person is saying? And oftentimes, I've done a narrative before as well, and sometimes the data that you presented it's really important data, and the actual action is something that comes out of that meeting, sitting down, having people discuss what's been presented. And sometimes it's just 180 degrees in the opposite direction of what you were thinking.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it does force you to look really critically at what you're thinking about and before you present it. Rob, how long did it take you to write your narrative? Personally, it took me a few days. So is it a week, a month? Like, how long should it take?
So I've had narratives that took me, a week to write, and I've had narratives that I wrote in 3 hours. And I think a lot of the times it does depend on, sometimes people write these narratives and they're not necessarily being driven by data. They're being driven by, I have an idea and I'm going to shoehorn the data until it fits. And I think a lot of those times, that's when you start seeing people write these month-long narratives. But when something's really clear, after you've seen a piece of data and you're like, wow, that's really strange. I wonder how we can fix that, or I wonder how we can improve on that. Sometimes the narrative kind of writes itself.
Yeah, that's true. I guess, what does a person who's writing a narrative hope to achieve? You've got everyone in the room, they're sitting down, they're reading it. What's the outcome that they want to achieve at the end?
A change in process. I'd say that's almost always what you're looking for. And sometimes that change in process is extreme, like in an AWS sense, maybe someone has developed an idea for a new service. And sometimes it's really minor, but it can have some pretty severe customer impacts.
Thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate your insights, and we'll see you next time. Bye.